Hey fam, what's up, what's up, what's up? This is Robert Anton here, robertanton.com, and I was just watching the boys semifinals. Okay, so every team got to perform. There are two people left on each team, and that is after elimination. So you haven't gotten eliminations yet. So what I wanted to say first is the voting is going to be different. So if you guys are watching this right now, well, if you're watching this before Wednesday at 10 a.m., you can vote only until 10 a.m. because there will be results show on Wednesday at 8 p.m. But this results show will be kind of delayed depending on how long the president speaks. So it'll be starting right after the president's speech. Okay, the coaches will be scoring their people for 100 points. So they'll be splitting 100 points between their two performers, and then the voting will also account for 100 points. Let's talk about what happened on the show. They first gave the results for TeamCeeLo, and America voted for Vicci Marinez. She was the top vote getter. And CeeLo saved Nakia. I thought those were both great choices out of the performances that just happened last week. Next up with TeamAdam, America voted for Javier Colon. Naturally, there was, nothing crazy about that. And Adam saved Casey Weston. And I was not surprised, even the whole time that he was saying, I was saying, save the girl, and he ended up saving her, even though she was a second choice. She got it. She was one of the second round choices. But I think she did better in the last week's performances than any of the other people. So next up, TeamXtina had Frenchie Davis performing, and she sang Like a Prayer by Madonna. I thought it was a good song choice, but, okay, she started up on the platform with dancers on the floor. It looked like it was going to be really excited and all that good stuff. And, she sang, I said she sang the heck out of the song, but her top notes weren't tight. I mean, they just weren't really together. It was just something with going that just wasn't happening for me. I also felt that she was a little too reserved. She was a little stiff, and I didn't get a lot of emotion from her performance. I just got the song sung and nothing in the background, no kind of, backstory, no kind of interesting anything going on, no kind of emoting or emotion going on. But again, she did sing the heck out of it, but there were even points in the singing that weren't dead on. Next up for TeamCeeLo, Nakia sang What Do You Want From Me by Lambert. There was a whole thing going on about this right on Twitter, because Adam Lambert is from American Idol and somebody on The Voice is doing this song, but it's not the first time they did Carrie Underwood. I think they did another song too, I can't remember. Put down in the comments if you know the other song that they did, or a song or two I think it was that they did from American Idol artists. Again, Nakia for me is just great, from his look to his sound, it's just out of this world. It's really different. I'm glad CeeLo is his coach because he is choosing very interesting material for him to sing. He started out singing at the piano, and it was real nice and light. He was doing his thing, and it was just very intense. He just had everything going on, all the emotion, the sound, the everything. He was playing the piano. It was just a full performance. Okay, then he kicked the chair away, and they brought it up a little bit, and he took center stage, and I just wrote that he has a lot of attitude. He had a lot of poise in the song, and he just knocked it out of the park. It was a great vocal performance. It was a great all-around performance. I mean, just everything was there. The emotion was there. The intent was there. The action was there. It was just very solid. It was just very solid, okay? And Adam Levine didn't know the song, and he said, oh, you probably sang it better than, the original artist, which, whatever. I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to get killed by the Lamberts. Next up for TeamBlake, Frampton sang Losing My Religion by R.E.M. She picked up the guitar this time after being on the piano last time, so she's a multi-instrumentalist here, doing her thing. I wrote, for one, the first thing that I saw, was this frumpy dress and these flats that she was wearing, with this guitar and this very dressed up looking necklace. And I just thought, wow, that just doesn't look right. It just looked strange. I'm not really I don't even comment a whole lot on the way people are dressed, but it just looked bad. It just looked off and it looked bad. And her voice sounded good. But with her sound, she does have a very distinct sound. And it is the kind of sound that someone is either going to like or not like. There's generally not going to be somebody so in between. And what I think about her voice is it's there and it's pleasing, but it's not, for me, it's not that great. Just to my ear, it just doesn't do much for me. Now, that being said, she did do a good job on the song. She sounded good. She did her own kind of arrangement. She had an idea of where she wanted to go with the song, and I can really respect that. Also, when you have a distinct sound like that, you can cover just about anybody's music and it's going to sound like you. So you are going to sound original doing someone else's songs, no matter who it is, if you have that type of voice, and she does have that type of voice. Next up for TeamAdam, Casey Weston sang "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston, and Adam was getting on her. Oh, you sounded like Whitney, and Dolly Parton wrote the song and did it first, but we all related. Most everybody relates it to Whitney Houston, and he kept saying that you sound so much like you sound, but there's no way that somebody's going to do this song and is not going to hear Whitney in their ear. Okay, I'll get to my notes. I wrote, she gets off to a rocky start, and it doesn't get much better. She's not a strong enough or confident enough singer to pull the song off. And as a side note, I wrote that her dress was looking like Mariah Carey, but she had on these these cowboy boots, I want to say, that kind of threw it off. But she was very nervous. To me, it seemed like what took over was her nerves. And she wasn't getting her breath, so she could not give a really solid performance. I think the whole time she was thinking, and she didn't feel the song. She wasn't feeling the emotion. She wasn't feeling what she was supposed to be giving to the audience. Because a lot of times when we get into a performance, and all of us, and 99.9% of performers, no matter how long they've been performing, no matter how big they are, get those little nervous jitters, those little butterflies in their stomach when they are about to perform, when they're about to start the concert or whatever. And that is energy that needs to be used in a positive fashion, and she just does not have the strength or the poise to use that energy positively, or she did not have it. It took over. And so she came off being very breathy. She came off being very wobbly. Her notes were very wobbly. Everything was so that was just the nerves taking. You could see her holding her stomach, trying to calm a little bit, but it just didn't work for her or for me. I'm sorry. Next up, Maroon 5 debuts "Moves Like Jagger," with Xtina coming in on I think it was the second or verse or something. I thought the song was okay. I'm wondering why Mick Jagger is getting so many mentions in everybody's song these days. That is the man right there, okay? But also, for me, Adam went between looking like he was bored to looking like he's uncomfortable. He was going back and forth, and I don't know what was going on. Maybe that was the story in the song that was happening, but to me, that's how it looked. When Xtina came out, the performance level bumped up. Also for me, she just comes on with this presence and this this swagger, as he said for someone else, that just brought the level of the performance up, and they seem to play off each other very well. Next up for TeamXtina, Beverly McClellan was singing "The Thrill Is Gone" by B.B. King, and I thought at first that it was kind of a strange thing, but I think she does have this nice crisp blues, kind of soul sound going on, and she started off at the piano, doing her thing, just very laid back. She on this outfit with the red piano, and the outfit, to me, the whole thing reminded me of Liberace. I was like, am I watching Liberace reincarnated or something right here? I thought from her, it was another wonderful, nuanced performance. I mean, she just, like I said before, she has that gruff and that really hard rocker sound, but she can also go very soft and sweet and pretty, and she showed some of that in this performance. Next up for TeamAdam, Javier Colon sang "Fix You" by Coldplay. He picked up the guitar after being at the piano. We got a bunch of multi-instrumentalists up in this piece, okay? And I like the slower, more sedate parts of the song, the sections of the song. When he rocked out and threw off his hat, that was all cool too. He still sounded good. But I liked the personal, the personality, the personableness of his performance when he's doing the more ballady type songs. I really enjoyed that. And I wrote he did sound solid throughout the song though. Blake Shelton comes up to sing his #1 hit, as they kept saying, called Honeybee. And at the end, his girls on his team, Xenia and Dia, joined him at the end, to do a little bit of vocalizing with him, which was kind of cute. It was also kind of creepy, I think, when he kept hugging them and they kind of looked like, they seemed uncomfortable to me. Again, it was just to me. Did you feel the same way? It was just kind of creepy to me. I'm sorry. Yeah. So next up, TeamBlake had Xenia performing, and she sang "The Man Who Can't Be Moved by the Script." And I wrote, she tried to give the song a little attitude, and it was noticeable, and it was a little better than what it was last week for me. But she was still so stiff. And Adam called the song sleepy for her. Yeah, it was a little sleepy also. But she also had trouble with her top notes. And what I thought of her performance altogether was, it is, to me, almost endearing to see this young girl up there performing and being very uncomfortable, and being kind of stiff and having a nice voice, and not being dead on or anything like that. But it is very endearing to me. But I just didn't think it was a good performance, and I didn't really enjoy it. Which means I really didn't like it. It seems like to me, I like her personally and I like her talent, but I think she needs a lot. Again, I think I said this before. She needs a lot more experience than she has at the moment to be up to the level of what would be the voice on this show. Next up for TeamCeeLo was Vicci Marinez. She was in the pimp spot. She got the last spot. She sang "Dog Days Are Over" by Florence and the Machine. Yeah. And I wrote, okay, not to be outdone by these other multi-instrumentalists, she led the drum line while singing her song at the beginning and at the end of the song. And, for me, it wasn't her best vocal, but she did a good job. She was solid. It was decent. Again, she did her dancing around the stage. She led the drum line with the drums and everything. She had this big faux hawk on that looked a lot better from the side than it did from the front, to tell you the truth. But it was good. It was solid, but it just was not her best vocal to date. She should be getting better and better, and this was kind of a step back as far as the vocals for me. All right, so that's it. What did you guys think of the performances? Who was your best? Who you think should be in the finals? That's all I want to know. This is Robert Antine here, robertantine.com. I'm out.